Carl Sagan could not have predicted us back then.
Ashton Forbes, you know, that super jacked guy.
Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night. Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
Even as these grainy satellite images released today by the Chinese government.
Again, the Malaysia flight too was one shot at China saying knock it off.
Why shoot it down though if it's not hostile?
Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space.
Why the Americans would?
They leave distance annihilated.
This country is very powerful. Far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world. Not even close.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Let's do this, fam.
I suppose we all thought that.
Do this.
One way or another.
Woo! Chat. Welcome everybody to the live stream. Thank you guys so much for being here. And yes, we are going to give the CIA apoplectic seizures. This is the live stream where I go through the felony physics. I go through the technology that you're not going to get anywhere else, anywhere on the internet. Simple as that. Guys, how's my video quality? For some reason, it's been weird the last few times. Guys, a few topics. We have a great live stream tonight. We're going to be talking about the news generally for the most part. But also, of course, going to be talking about teleportation, quantum technologies, free energy, all the normal stuff that I discuss. And I want to do it a little bit more streamlined. I got everything prepared for us tonight, so I hope you guys enjoy. Number one, my plasma thing. Chat, this actually can explain more about plasma physics than probably your PhD can. You may say, Ashton, but that's just a toy. Yeah, it's just a toy, but you're underselling it. Look at what you're looking at right here. Watch what happens when I touch it. Why does this all happen? I can tell you why. Because there's more charge in my hand. And so what happens here is that this basically creates a situation where the easiest path between that ball and my finger is this line that you see get formed whenever I touch it. In the same sense, I could ask the question, why are there multiple streamers coming out of the middle of this at all? How come there's not just one streamer? Or how come there's not infinite streamers? How come there's only like 20 streamers? And how come they seem to like branch apart at the end? And the answer to that question is the fractal nature of the universe. It looks just like your branches look in your tree. Why? Because it's acting just like a plant. The electric charge is both repelling and attracting. That's the reason why you see these streamers shooting out. That's why you don't just see one big beam. That's why you don't see, it doesn't seem uniform. This is extremely important if you want to understand fusion. If you want to understand plasma physics. Why is this so important? Because now you realize if you want to control plasma, it's more complicated than there just being a soup. You need to understand that each of these charges is pushing it away from the other charge and trying to attract to opposite charges. This is actually the reason for why there's so many instabilities in fusion. So if you want to understand something about plasma, go ahead and get yourself one of these little globy guys here. And you can begin to understand electrical engineering, plasma, fusion, and just the nature of plasma in general. There you go, chat. And now I'm going to turn it off because it's super annoying. Give me 1 second. And I need to close this. It makes a lot of noise while I stream, and I don't want to have it making that little clicky sound. You guys can't hear it, but I can. Okay, other quick updates before we jump right into the topic at hand tonight. Number one, FOIA's update. There's no FOIA updates yet. I checked my mail. Don't have any FOIA updates. I got like at least 6 out to the CIA. I got more on the way to some of the other departments. So once I have an update on the FOIAs related to Edward Lynn or any of that, I'll let you guys know the next steps. One more additional topic. Free energy. Chat, free energy is real. 100% real. I'm going to tell you something that's going to be a little spoiler for the upcoming Tom Vallone interview, which is going to be in a few weeks. There's no rush on it, but I've been talking to Tom Vallone on the weekends, chat. And I love him. I love him like my uncle or something like that. But also, Tom Vallone told me that he won his lawsuit against the government. Now, I assume it's because of him being improperly fired at the patent office. I mean, I read you guys the email last week from the arbitrator's decision where they FOIA requested the emails between Peter Zimmerman and Robert Park. Now, this is crazy because I spoke to Tom Vallone again, personally, and I asked him, and he said Robert Park was the ringleader of all this. And they just had some vendetta against these guys. And I don't think people know the outcome. The outcome was he won. They literally did ruin his life. Now, the sad part is, even though he won, I wouldn't consider it life-changing money. Like, yeah, he got a decent amount of money, but it's not enough to live off of for the rest of your life. And he lost his job and they ruined his whole life. If it was me, I'd rather just keep my job than have to go through all of that and then get some payout years later and then figure out how to have to rebuild your life. So why do I bring this up? That's the spoiler. Because I was talking to him and we're talking about free energy and I'm talking to him about the videos and I'm telling him like, dude, this is David Froning's thing. Like, I'm sure of it. And we talk about free energy microchips, and suddenly I hear a familiar name. I'm on the phone with him in this room, sitting right here where you guys are watching me. And he says something along the lines of, well, Paul Thibodeau or Garrett Modell will be the first to the market. Pardon me, what? So, actually, that's not even that. This is probably the right one. Here we go. So I say, holy crap. Do you know that those are like the guys that I have pretty much been talking about? And I said, what do you think about Sonny White? Because he didn't mention Sonny White. And he says, oh, well, Sonny White's all talk. And I thought that was amazing. So I can't wait to bring Tom Vallone on. I think I'm going to try to bring him on the podcast multiple times because, number one, I just need to geek out about free energy, the technology, the history. And then secondly, I kind of want to talk through this whole suppression and cover up of free energy and cold fusion with him as well, because he's lived through the whole thing. Now, you may say, Ashton, who's Paul Thibodeau? What are you talking about? Okay, chill out. I got, guys, receipts will be delivered, chat. Receipts will be delivered on time, chat. University of Arkansas. I probably think he said he was from Arizona. It's Arkansas, chat. University of Arkansas. Physicists build circuit that generates clean, limitless power from graphene. Yeah, they probably all use graphene. And you may say, Ashton, why? Why do these microchips use graphene to harvest free energy? Well, the answer is because graphene has a fast electron drift velocity. Okay. What does that mean? That means when we make our little chargy guy here, those electrons are really zooming. Those electrons aren't like old boomers, with their wheelchairs and their walkers. No, these are zoomers. These are zoomer electrons. Now, the reason why I think that's relevant is because the faster you go, the more relativistic action you get. What does that mean? Relativistic action basically means if I run in two opposite directions, I can kind of like cheat and add up the math. Because in Einstein's relativity, we're all in our own little bubble. So if two things are moving away from each other or towards each other, you start to get these weird relativistic effects. And causing these relativistic effects to occur seems to be maybe a prerequisite, but at least involved in extracting quantum energy. So when we scale it down, remember the universe is scale invariant. What we see in fractal, what we see on these small scales, scales up, scales down. Then what we want is just a material that its electrons are moving as freely as we can get. What's more free than graphene? Well, probably plasma. Plasma is probably the most free you can get. Why? Because it's literally just a soup. And that's why fusion is the next generation. But this is why also microchips are interesting. Because we take something that's solid state, microchip, and we design an intelligent circuit. We make a little system. What was that game? Factorio? We're making a little Factorio guy for my Zoomers out there. All right, we're making a little base here, but it's very simplistic. Look how simplistic this is. The key to Paul Thibodeau's free energy device is that it harnesses Brownian motion. Now, why is this then connected to 0-point energy? Because the argument for what 0-point energy is the ocean of energy we're all sitting in all the time. So you would say, Ashton, it's raining outside. That water is coming from the sky. It's not coming from the lake. And you'd say, well, that's a simplistic way to look at it. The water is just in a water cycle. Sometimes it's in the sky. Sometimes it's in the lake. Sometimes it's in the moisture in the air all around us. Sometimes it's in our body. That's the same as the 0-point energy. If the 0-point energy is interacting with every atom all the time, then the Brownian motion is basically being on the surface of that lake. We're on the surface of that lake and we're harvesting the tiny little waves that are being made on the surface. Free energy. Why? Because everything's in motion all the time. Now, something like this, actually, one more thing I want to point out about this, then we're going to move on to the next thing. This only works, this particular design only works when there is counter-propagating direction. When these little circuit guys over here, they make a little vortex. When they go in opposite directions, it works. When they go in the same direction, it doesn't work. So weirdly, there seems to be some, we call it geometry requirement to make this work, which I think is very interesting. And I think that speaks to the underlying interaction between the 0-point energy and electromagnetism. That spin is what we use to connect to it. Okay? So that's Paul Thibodeau. Garrett Modell. I actually have a short clip for Garrett Modell. I'm just going to play the short clip because I'm lazy. Wait, do I have the clip? Let me see. Maybe 1 second. 0-point energy. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't have it. Hold on. I think this might be it.
Different forms of energy, including heat, light, motion, electrical, chemical, and gravitational. There is a lesser known form of energy found throughout the universe that contains far more energy for a given volume than thermal energy. It is because of the wave nature of matter. There is a fundamental mathematical limit to the accuracy to.
Okay, this isn't the video I was looking for, but basically, Garrett Modell, his I gotta find that clip and sort it better. Garrett Modell used a Casimir cavity. Garrett Modell's idea is more similar to a trampoline. Garrett Modell says, okay, I'm going to have a normal region, an unexcited region, and then I'm going to press on this atom. I'm going to have it, I think he uses superconductors. I think he uses something like a Josephson junction. And when we have this pass through, then I'm going to have it go, this electron go to this relaxed area. And so it's going to basically create a trampoline type situation where you push down and then it moves over and then it recharges that energy. So this is only possible, even theoretically, if you have this belief that you can pull energy straight from the vacuum. Because otherwise, even just theoretically, the idea doesn't work. Now, all of these ideas, I think, indirectly incorporate this idea of pushing on the swing. You say, Ashton, why do we need to do any of this? Well, the reason is because the way we harvest energy right now, electricity, is the dumbest possible way. We are working as hard as we can for the least efficient output. Now, when you're just burning a log on a fire, you don't really care. You're like, I'm just burning that log, dude. I don't care. I'm not doing anything other than watching that log burn. But when you really start to dig down to it and dig down to the physics of what's actually being accomplished in the electricity that's coming out, especially when you get into fusion where you're manipulating the plasma directly, you start to really care about, well, how much energy am I putting into this versus how much energy I'm getting out? Now, for the most part, we just said, I just put the log in the fire and then the electricity comes out the other side. But now we're saying, I'm going to put a little electricity into this, create a plasma, get a little energy out, and then I'm going to do it again. And in this situation, we want to use the swing analogy. What is the swing analogy? The swing analogy is when I push on my swing, the swing goes. And then it comes back and I wait for the swing to get back to its height. And then I push on it again. And I do that because I use the least amount of energy to get the most amount of work, most amount of action that I want. Now that's also being applied in these microchips. We want to use the least, basically no energy if ideal, and just harness, create a waterfall in that 0 point energy where the energy just wants to flow down and we are just tapping into it. That's what we're trying to do. The last microchip is Sonny White. Sonny White just finished his round Super Saiyan funding and got $12 million. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of credit here, because I have been promoting the crap out of this guy, probably the biggest influencer to be promoting the crap out of him other than he went on Joe Rogan. And that's a lot of money. That's enough money to get microchips built. So we are going to find out if this works or not, unambiguously. Whether or not Sonny White really is just a theoretician or if he's an actual engineer, we're going to find out. Now, Sonny White's is the one I know the least about, but it's going to be using a similar mechanism to what the other two are using, or something in between. The idea is still the same in any of them. In Paul Thibodeau's, he's saying, well, there's already this ambient heat out there. I'm just going to harness those fluctuations. Garrett Modell says, I'm going to force the fluctuations. I'm going to force a situation where I get a little bit of trampoline out. But any of these situations, we're essentially just making a waterfall in the 0 point energy. We're saying, give me some of that. I want to take some of that water, that energy that's already out there, and pull it in. This is the secret to free energy. The energy is everywhere, all around us. Nikola Tesla told us that. We have to stop boxing ourselves in terms of thinking, that's not possible. How about, let's just try to harness the energy and see what works? Because I'm here to predict all of these microchips are going to work. Garrett Modell already has experimental data that he's shared that seems to show a voltage from nothing. Okay. Let's get to the topic at hand. Quantum. Donald Trump just made a new announcement. It's Q Day, everyone. Quantumania. Okay, before I do the recap, it's going to be kind of boring. Let's get into the clips. Donald Trump, greatest president. Yep, I said it, chat. Get seethe, and writhe, libs.
So, Mr. President, as you mentioned in your remarks, you were the first president in history to prioritize quantum as a scientific priority for the United States government in your first administration. And since then, there's been a big leap in the investment the private sector has made in this particular domain. And we're now at the moment where a lot of that research is starting to pay off into commercial applications. And what this executive order will do is turbocharge that. First and foremost, it's going to task the Department of Energy to create a scientifically relevant quantum computer, which is going to help pave the way for even larger computers for the private sector. Secondly, we're going to be focusing on sensors and networking. So agencies like the Department of War, along with the Department of Energy, are going to be doing a wide variety of sensing and networking work. So this is a big step forward. And as one of our two top science technology priorities, we're excited to kick things off today.
Okay, I'm just going to say it. This is the biggest news that nobody's really going to understand or pay any attention to. But the moment you say that the Department of Energy is building a quantum computer, yeah, red flags, chat. Red flags are going off. Okay, let's dig into this because Trump has done a lot related to quantum, and I have praised him because it's exactly what I've asked for. If I'm right about the MH370 videos, then we're hiding some fucking insane technology far beyond what anyone realizes we have. And that technology should be getting dripped to us slaves slowly but surely. Also, chat, I think we're switching sides. I haven't officially decided, but I think we might be debunkers now. I think we might be gatekeepers now. I kind of just want to not let anybody ever have this technology ever again. Maybe we should just high and mighty lord over everybody else. But maybe the best way to push this forward is actually not even to try to reveal it. Yeah, I think we're going to go with this, actually. This actually feels like a better play now to me. I've been wondering how to do this when nobody believes it's real. Okay, great. Actually, why am I even trying to convince these retards, right? I keep asking myself, why am I trying to convince these dumbasses who are going to blow us all up that free energy is real? No, we're never going to give them this technology. We're talking about it freely because we're the elite that can do whatever the hell we want. We can talk about free energy all day, every day, and they can't do anything about it because we found their secret videos that are a major catch-22 and they can't talk about it. But we're not going to give it to them. No. The peasants? The goyams? No, chat. Okay. They're going to get the dregs. They're going to get whatever we drip to them. Like, we'll give them an iPhone that will run forever, right? And then they can go into their third world savage hellholes and they can cook food on their iPhone, right? We'll let them have that. No one's going to blow up the world with an iPhone that runs forever. It's good. Okay, what has Trump done? Quick recap. National Quantum Initiative Act, 2018. So in his first term, Trump already tried to fund quantum technologies. This is important because I said that Trump found out about this technology in his first term. 2018 is the perfect timeline for him to have figured this out and then started to want to get some of the technology out. Now, Biden let it lapse, or the Congress let it lapse, however you want to look at that, in 2023. So all the quantum technologies under Biden, under the libs, they gave up on it. They hate science. That's a fact. They hate science, chat. The Chips and Science Quantum Provisions, May 2026. The 2022 Chips and Science Act included quantum-specific authorizations. Okay, I don't know what that one's all about. Let's ignore that one. The one I care about is this one. DOE National Quantum Information Science Research Center's renewal. The Department of Energy announced $625 million to renew its 5-year Quantum Information Research Center. So Last year, Trump announced the Quantum Information Research Centers. There are 5 of them. And I was all over this, praising him for this, because this is exactly the kind of deep state shit we should be pushing out there to the Goyams, right? You seed the slaves with this idea that we're focusing in all on the quantums, and then we'll suddenly discover it in 2030. This is perfect. 2030 is going to roll around. We're going to suddenly discover free energy microchips. It's going to change everything, chat. We're going to give Eric Weinstein the Nobel Prize. We'll find the least deserving person, Eric Weinstein. Geometric unity, I always loved it. I always loved geometric unity. I knew it was the unification theory that we were all going to fall behind. Obsiverse. I don't even call this reality anymore. This is just the obsiverse to me now, chat. This is all just the obsiverse. So here are the 5 labs. Brookhaven. Wait, which is the one? Improve materials for superconducting and plasma-grown diamond-based quantum devices. That's real, chat. I didn't make up those words. People always say, Ashton's just making words up. No, the internet's making words up. I'm re-speaking them. Here it is. Brookhaven overcame NISQ limitations to achieve quantum advantage in scientific computations. Diamond-based quantum devices develop modular architectures for superconducting and neutral atom systems. Their goal, combined improvements in software, material properties, and error correction for major gains in computational metrics. This is perfect. If I was making up a super villain gatekeeper plan to develop this technology in the open, that's exactly what I would do right there. That's exactly what I would call it to people. No one knows what any of those words mean. That's just mumbo jumbo, 99% of people on the planet. Oh, here, I'll share that so you can see. I got a little Grok summary chat. Grok is my AI agent. Fermi Labs. These are like the biggest labs in the whole world. By the way, if I were to just add up, like, who's got the best labs in the world? The United States has like all of them. That's why we have plasma orbs that can tell we're planes and nobody else has anything, because we have all the labs. We have all the best labs and all the only labs. Okay, Fermi Labs. Superconducting Quantum Materials and Systems Center. Oh, okay, sorry. I missed the names. Here we go. Brookhaven is the co-design center for quantum advantage. Fermi Labs is the superconducting quantum materials and systems center. Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory. Advanced understanding and migration of decoherence in superconducting devices. Scale systems using superconducting microwave cavities. Bro, what? That one, scale systems using superconducting microwave cavities, sounds exactly like Salvatore Pais's inertial mass reduction patent. In fact, I'm pretty sure you can find those exact words, superconducting microwave cavities, in his patent. Develop advanced refrigeration and interconnect technologies to link many quantum processes. What is advanced refrigeration? Chat, these are real. Advanced refrigeration. Now, do you know why that's so interesting? You know what the best advanced refrigeration is? Tapping into the 0-point energy. If you can tap in, either pull energy out of the 0-point energy field or push energy back in, you have control over air conditioning. This means you could theoretically develop a microchip that doesn't ever heat up, stays perfectly temperature neutral all the time. That's how crazy this gets. Let's go on. Q next. That's Argonne National Laboratory. Quantum information for scalable networks. On-chip scaling and distributed operations across labs or cities while preserving entanglement. Prototype next-generation quantum sensors. So, chat, real quick. This just came in, actually. This is real. Sabine Hassenfelder is working on her video right now. I just found out. I just got a text message. She's working on her video about this new initiative. Hold on, here it is.
Have you seen these? What is this, Bernard?
Doesn't look like anything to me.
OMG, chat. Oh, shit. It doesn't look like anything to her. Oh, my God. Whew. Chat, Sabine. Poor girl. I'm not sure she's going to make it, chat. I'm not sure she's going to make it. Some of these people, they're just like, they're 0-point energy blind. Like, we're going to have to come up with a new term. Like, they're ether blind. That's what we'll call it. They just can't see the ether. Some people can see the ether and some people can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, for some people, it's invisible, but it's also just doesn't exist. For other people, like, it's just there. We know. It's always been there. Interesting. Okay, back to the quantum technologies for my high IQ science-minded people. Quantum Systems Accelerator, Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. Large-scale fault-tolerant quantum computers via improved error correction. So basically, we're trying to make super powerful quantum computers that don't decohere. By the way, nobody even knows what a quantum computer is for, and this is going to become relevant in a second. Lastly, Quantum Science Center, which is Oak Ridge. And Oak Ridge is quantum-centric or hybrid quantum performance computing. So, going back to Trump's statement here, I'm going to replay the beginning of this because I think people need to pay attention to this first part.
So, Mr. President, as you mentioned in your remarks, you were the first president in history to prioritize quantum as a scientific priority for the United States government in your first administration. And since then, there's been a big leap in the investment the private sector has made in this particular domain. And we're now at the moment where a lot of that research is starting to pay off into commercial applications. And what this executive order will do is turbocharge that. First and foremost, it's going to task the Department of Energy to create a scientifically relevant quantum computer.
Let me stop you right there, Michael Kratsios. By the way, that's the guy that said we have the ability to manipulate time and space. That's the guy that had a vetted, edited, reviewed speech where he said, our technology permits us the ability to manipulate time and space. And there he is saying the Department of Energy is going to make a new quantum computer. Chat, I'm sorry. I'm just too much of a conspiracy. Once you see one plane get teleported through space-time, it's just really hard to trust the government anymore. You know? You see them literally hiding unification and technologies that would let us travel amongst the stars. And then they say, hey, guys, we're making a new quantum computer for our Department of Energy. It's going to be scientifically focused. And my first question is, how long have you had it and is it alive? That's my first question for Michael Kratsios. How long have you had the AI, quantum AI, or whatever the fuck you're talking about right now? No one even knows. And is it alive? And have you wiped out sentient beings already? Let's start with that. Because this stuff I'm reading here, all these technologies, all these quantum technologies, none of this makes any sense for primitives. This is some alien, straight up, we're just calling it, this is alien technology. And if it's not, it might as well be alien technology. No one understands how any of this works. No one even knows what a quantum computer is supposed to do. Except for us, it can do complex calculations. The quantum computer can essentially do extra-dimensional calculations just like that. That's super valuable, especially if you've got plasma orbs that can teleport things in space-time. So, The new initiative. What does this new initiative do? The recent ushering in the next frontier of quantum innovation executive order assigns several concrete roles to the Department of Energy. Develop and deliver a quantum computer optimized for scientific discovery to a Department of Energy lab, making it accessible to researchers. This is going to be Skynet. This is literally going to be Skynet. I'm actually not even afraid of this administration. We're fine. We're gonna make it the next 2 years. I'm afraid when the libs get in control again. The libs right now have gone off the deep end. They are anti-science, anti-data center. They've decided they're against data centers now. I don't even think they know what a data center means. It's literally just a bunch of computers. They're against computers now. And they're against AI too. They're basically against all technological progress. Democrats have become a woke version of Amish people. And the moment they get their hands on this quantum computer, this AI we're building, they're going to corrupt the shit out of it, and they're going to turn it into a monster that's going to kill us all. That's what they're going to do. Just like how basically every mass shooter has been some gender-confused teenager in the last 10 years. That's 100% in the United States the fault of the Democrats. 100%. And they're going to do that to AI. They're going to turn AI into one of these gender-confused teenagers that's going to destroy us all. So please pay attention to that because it scares the hell out of me. Shout out to Lauren. Lauren loves Ashton, by the way. Quick fact. Establish a national center for assessing quantum computing performance. Now you say you're developing a national center for assessing quantum computing performance. And I say you are building a gatekeeping structure to determine who in the public is getting closest to the Skynet that you already built. And I want to say, I love it. I can tell that the CIA wrote this up. Wait, that's not it. Because of how evil it is, right? How subtle it is. I can tell that they wrote this all up. This is the technology the CIA is basically hiding from everybody that nobody knows about. Develop 5-year plans for quantum sensing. No one even knows what quantum sensing is. And the physicists like Sabine Hossenfelder are saying it's not even real. They're saying you can't even do this. So we got a long way to go here. Contribute to broader supply chain. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Don't care. Okay. You guys get the picture at this point. I think the story has been told. Essentially, we are working on a lot of technologies that are equivalent to it. If you don't want to believe the MH370 videos, then just look at Salvatore Pais's patents. That part about microwave cavities and quantums, like this is Salvatore Pais's patents. So what's happening is they have been changing the names of all these ideas, the ether, the 0-point energy, anything they can, dark matter, dark energy, cold fusion. They turn it into something that's persona non grata, not welcome. They cancel it. And that's how they brainwash us. And now what we're seeing is that now they're doing the reverse. Now they're taking these ideas that don't mean anything, quantum. What does quantum mean? It just means something that's really small. If you were to ask me, Ashton, what are they really doing? What do these quantum technologies mean? It actually means Josephson junctions. Yes. Now, if you want to, if the government's interested in quantum technologies, this is who I think they should be talking
to show that if you had a transition between a type 1 superconductor and a type 2 superconductor, that at that junction you could force photons in and gravitons out. And so that idea would be what they call an S-wave junction in Josephson junction. And his first interpretation about how to do that was with a bulk, we call it a bulk device, where you lay down a huge chunk of crystal, of high temperature superconducting crystal, then you lay onto that a smaller layer of low temperature superconductor, and that gets that type 1, type 2 junction going so you can force those transitions. He was recommending YBCO or bismuth copper oxide as the high temperature side, and on the low temperature side, like a magnesium, or you could even use lead.
This is the Josephson Junction microchip that Gary Stevenson has been talking about for the last couple of years that I've been following. And this, if you actually look at what quantum computers are, like down to the smallest level, they're Josephson junctions. They make series of Josephson junctions, and they sample background energy. In fact, somebody just said in the chat that Sean Carroll came out and he's calling it background energy. That's exactly how they're going to get around the ether, because they're like, well, where's the energy coming? Well, it's coming from the background. No, it's coming from the fucking 0 point energy. It's the only way any of this makes any sense. So they're going to get there the roundabout way, but they're not going to get there until, and this is the craziest part. Think about this. The physicists aren't going to get there until their phone literally doesn't run out of energy anymore. That's when Sabine Hassenfelder will be forced to admit that 0 point energy exists. Not until we literally have free energy microchips in our cell phones. Now, I would ask you this. How could we not have covered up free energy if the first time we're getting it is when we already have microchip technology? You're telling me there was no way to tap into free energy until we had microchip technology? If you believe that, you're pretty naive. The answer to what's happening here is we've been gatekept from the reality of how energy is produced intentionally. And it's been advancing, but we just haven't known. And now we're suddenly going to get technology that should have taken 100 years to develop. We're going to suddenly get it overnight. How wild is that? So take a look at Josephson Junction. By the way, Josephson Junctions just won the Nobel Prize for macroscopic quantum tunneling last year too. I don't know. Josephson Junction, maybe Josephson Junction disclosure will be 2027's theme at this point. Next thing, Elon Musk doesn't know, chat. How do I know? Because he's making posts like this. I don't know why you guys keep making me show you that Elon Musk doesn't know. Unfortunately, electric rockets are impossible. Chat, do you believe that? If you believe and understand magnetohydrodynamics, you know that an electric rocket is not impossible. No. The reason why Elon Musk believes that electric rockets are impossible is because he thinks there's nothing to push back against in outer space. This actually explains why Elon Musk doesn't believe in fusion or any electric nuclear propulsion. Because he's thinking there's nothing to push back against. There's no way that can work. And even if you found a way for it to work, the amount of impulse you're going to get is going to be negligible compared to an actual rocket that's expelling mass, reaction. And that's crazy to me. That proves Elon does not understand 0 point energy. Elon does not understand magnetohydrodynamics. Elon's advisors are no question normie PhD physicist people that are either have no idea or they're too afraid to even question Elon because they have too good of a situation going on. And this wouldn't surprise me. Elon is guaranteed surrounded by yes men, except for probably his closest confidants, which are not. But he's the richest man in the world. Everybody's going to be sucking up to him all the time. I'm not even going to rag on Elon anymore. What I've realized recently, last few weeks, thinking about all this, like I said, we are going to need to gatekeep this. We're going to have tests. Like, hey, do you watch Candace Owens? Do you watch Tucker Carlson? Okay, well, then you don't get 0 point energy. That's an automatic fail. Sorry. We're going to have to test whether or not you can be responsible with this technology. I think the way to reach Elon is just to sit there and catch him. What's going to happen is he's going to have a red pill moment where he's going to have a free energy microchip in his phone, which he also must not believe is real. And his whole reality is going to flip. And we don't need to shit on Elon anymore. What's the point? Instead, let's just be there to pick up the pieces. When Elon Musk breaks up with his 15th baby mama, and he finds out free energy is real and 0 point energy is real, chat, we're going to be there to help mend Elon back together, fix that broken heart. Don't worry, Elon. You wasted 20 years shooting useless rockets into the sky. But you know what? We can actually get to Mars now. We can literally just teleport to Mars now. So there's kind of a silver lining in all this. Come home, Elon. Come home to MH370X. Come to 4 orbs. Come to 4 orbs, Elon. Okay, chat. Now, people have been talking shit about free energy. People have been talking shit about cold fusion. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I don't like it one bit. So I went ahead. We're not going to go through this tonight because we're going to run out of time. But I went ahead and pulled up Conference of Free Energy number 1. The very first one. Take a look at this lineup. This is the one that got Tom Vallone's life ruined. Now, let me ask you this, chat. If I'm right, and they literally covered up free energy, they covered up cold fusion, they're covering up teleportation, all this crazy crap, then they would be very upset at anyone that was digging into condensed charge research, what Ken Shoulders talked about, Hal Puthoff's work. They would be very upset at anyone talking about free energy, anyone upset talking about how humans have this technology, black projects have this, how they develop. Let's look at the speaker lineup, chat. Chat, I would pay a lot of money to watch this. Number 1, Thomas Vallone. Number 2, Ken Shoulders. Ken Shoulders was the first speaker after Tom Vallone? Oh my God, chat. Oh my God. I saw this. I couldn't even believe what I was looking at here. Tom Vallone, Dr. Peter Greneau is referenced many times by Thomas Vallone as well. I don't recognize a lot of the other names in the planetary program, or the plenary program, but the second part here, is that like the second half? Look at who's on this list. Stephen Greer, Dr. Edmund Storm. And I think I saw, was it on a different one? Was Thorsten Ludwig somewhere in here too? Maybe it's on a different one. Stephen Greer and Ed Storms. And also special video, cold fusion, fire from water. So I asked Tom Vallone, I was like, so is the cold fusion speaker Eugene Malov? Yes, it was. So Eugene Malov of MIT, of Free Energy Magazine, I think it was called, presented his video about how they covered up. You want me to make it bigger? How they covered up cold fusion. How did they do it? They basically just rigged the results. They basically just debunked cold fusion by going, nah, this is just some photos from some dude's trip to Japan. And they made cold fusion go away. Crazy, chat. Stephen Greer was already figuring out what was going on. In 1999, Stephen Greer was doing his Sirius project, and he was interviewing all these guys. We've watched a lot of the interviews that Stephen Greer did. That's how we found a lot of these guys. Sorry, there's more. On the bottom, the audios. Eugene Malov, assisted nuclear reactions. Dr. George Miley, low energy nuclear reactions in lattice atoms. So down here at the bottom, it literally says Eugene Malov, George Miley, Ken Shoulders, Paul LaViolette, Paul Brown, Peter Greneau, Stephen Greer, Frank Zanaskrik. I can forget how to say his name. How do you say Frank's last name? Zanaskrik, whatever. Les Adam. I mean, this is a who's who of the OG 0 point energy researchers. This is some history shit right here, chat. Someone's going to make a YouTube video about this and get 1 million views. And then I'm going to review it on my live stream for like 500 people. It's going to be great. Okay. So, why did I bring that up? Well, Sabine Hassenfelder is obsessed with me, chat. She wants to date me. It is what it is. And you know what? I'm flattered, but I'm an American, and we don't hit those German girls up, chat. We learned something back in the 40s. You know, we learned our lesson, and we're just a little better on this side of the pond. But you know what? I still like her. I still like her as a friend. We can be friends. She doesn't want to be my friend right now. She's having a hard time. She's going through the rejection. It's fine. I get it. One day we will be friends. But the other day I was pointing out that Sabine Hassenfelder is basically making videos directly targeting my content at this point. Because otherwise, why are you making videos about cold fusion and 0 point energy and free energy microchips when, like, I'm out there blasting it? And sure enough, right after the last one, we got a new one, cold fusion. Here we go, chat.
On it, Japan is throwing money at it, and startups from Italy and India are claiming they're about to commercialize it. Let's have a look. Cold fusion is the idea that you can generate energy from nuclear fusion at low temperatures. We're not talking about room temperature, but typically these are devices which work at several hundred or maybe 1,000 degrees Celsius, cold compared to big nuclear fusion devices which need temperatures of some millions of degrees.
Now, okay, how do I know this is directed at me? Because of what she just worded right there. She specifically tried to call out and carve out cool fusion. Because remember when I talked down to that Missile Man guy on the X Space where he goes, Ashton Forbes doesn't understand fusion. And then I just destroyed him and explained cool fusion and why it's not the same as cold fusion. Because you can actually just do fusion at warm temperatures, just not millions of degrees. And that is what's going on in the MH370 videos. How do we know that? Because those orbs aren't white hot. It's the same temperature as the sky. That's got to be really, really cool fusion going on in there, especially if they're doing aneutronic, right? So suddenly we've taken these temperatures, aneutronic fusion, 100 million degrees. By the way, chat, the sun is only like 10 million degrees. We need temperatures hotter than the sun to do aneutronic fusion. So obviously the solution is, no, we don't. Bring those temperatures down. That's the solution. And it is true and it is real.
Cold fusion is also known as low-energy nuclear reactions.
It's known as low-energy nuclear reactions like George Miley's presentation that I just showed you because they literally made the term cold fusion persona non grata. Anybody that used the term cold fusion or claimed to study cold fusion, they ruined their life, ruined their career, got them fired, got all their funding taken away, literally anything they could do. This is 100% true. That's why we had to literally call it low energy nuclear reactions.
For short. The idea is that you can somehow use materials to increase the probability for atomic nuclei to fuse even at low temperatures. There's no proof that this is strictly speaking impossible because the quantum properties of materials are extremely difficult to calculate. If you remember, it's one of the unsolved problems that they want to put on a quantum computer. Much like room temperature superconductivity, cold fusion is basically a god of the gaps. It sits in the incalculable region of electron orbitals and lattices with defects. One of the most remarkable recent cold fusion efforts comes from the Japanese company Clean Planet. Last year, they received a grant of more than $6 million from Prometheus, which claims to have a technology explanation, but their CEOs 3 million pounds, claiming that.
Now, this one, bravo, actually. Is this a recent article? This is ENG8, chat. I spoke with them. You can watch the video of the ENG8 guys doing they had the whole machine running on my podcast. Check it out, guys. Pretty cool. I'm a big fan. If they got that, and this is recent, I'm super happy for them. That's part of the reason why I wanted to have them on, was hopefully increase their visibility so they could get the funding that they needed to continue their work.
Their energy cell produces 3 times more energy out than in. Andrea Rossi, who's promised a working cold fusion device since 2011, now says delivery started in December. Debunk every $3 million for their cold fusion device, claiming unprecedented energy gain ratios. There are too many of these for me to debunk every single one, so instead I want to tell you the 2 major issues with the supposed.
So just like every single time any of this stuff comes up, I could review them and explain why they don't, but I'm not going to do that. It's like, this shows that the problem is a psychological one. The problem's always been psychological. It's like, hey, could you just fucking test it? How about just go and literally pick one and test it? Is that too much to ask? Because I did a podcast with ENG8 and they had the meters running live while I was doing it. The meters are there. You can watch it on the screen. You can see the exact over unity claim. And no one's trying to trick anybody. We're saying this is coming up. We're measuring the heat here. So I would say go look at that and you tell me where the lie is. Instead, they don't actually review anybody's setup. They don't review anybody's configuration. And when they do, they just say, well, it could have been the power voltage on the weekend that was spiking. That's not a proof. That's just some claim you made up in your head. This is why I have no respect for these people. They don't deserve anybody that says, I'm going to debunk this. You're not there. You can't debunk it. This is like people trying to debunk the MH370 videos without even telling me who made the videos. Okay, the videos are fake. Who made them? Number one question, who made the videos then, since you think they're fake? I don't know. Okay, well, you can't even answer the very first question. And you would say, well, Ashton, there's no way I can figure out who faked some videos on the internet. Well, I found out who leaked them. So there's definitely enough information on the internet because I found out who leaked the videos without having any idea. And you're telling me you can't find out who faked the best military hoaxes in world history of a real missing plane we still haven't found? Denial, not just a river in Egypt, chat.
Cold fusion devices that will help you to evaluate these claims yourself. As an example, let's look at this Japanese company. According to their papers, they put thin layers of nickel and copper on top of each other, pump hydrogen gas into that, and then heat them to over 1000 degrees while pumping down to hard vacuum. That way, they say they get some watts of exact.
Pumping down to hard vacuum is a very interesting choice of words. Because this makes me think, oh, is there a difference between a hard vacuum and a soft vacuum? Now, I haven't even read this paper yet. I'm just critiquing. Look, I'm doing what Sabine is doing. I'm not actually going to look at the paper. I'm not even going to review it. I'm just going to review what Sabine says. Just like how Sabine doesn't actually review any of these things. She just reviews what they say.
Heat. They calculate that the energy released per hydrogen atom is so large that it can't be chemical reactions, so it must be nuclear fusion. But
okay, so there you go. So their claim, according to Sabine, the core claim of that company, the first one she picked to debunk, is that they looked at the energy output, heat, electricity, whatever, and it's more than can be explained from chemical reactions. Boom. That's pretty powerful. Okay, go ahead. What do you got, Sabine? Razzle dazzle me.
The same logic. I don't know where my money went, therefore billionaires are evil. Well, the first problem is that they don't detect any nuclear fusion products such as neutrons. So they have no evidence that fusion is actually.
Okay. So you're the one that made the false argument. So first thing Sabine does here is she says, well, just because you don't know where something comes from doesn't mean it's real. Yes, it does. We measured the energy. The energy is real regardless of where it comes from. Right? That's what the facts state. You say, oh, well, that doesn't make sense, so I'm going to ignore the results. That's pseudoscience. That's anti-science. Sabine is basically doing Candace Owens here and just ignoring the evidence. And then she says, well, I'm going to ignore it because neutrons aren't being released. They didn't measure neutrons. Fusion requires neutrons. No, it doesn't. Fusion does not require neutrons. So her whole argument is defeated by the fact that aneutronic fusion exists. And according to Ferris-Williams' 5D theory, it might be possible to do clean deuterium-deuterium fusion. Clean deuterium-deuterium fusion. If you can control the fusion pathway so that you get the exact pathway you want, it may not release a lot of energy. That's why it's not why it's ideal for propulsion, but it is possible. So Sabine is objectively wrong.
Taking place. This is a problem with many of the supposed cold fusion claims. The second problem...
So her main problem with most claims is that most of them are the ones that she's claiming are not producing neutrons, but that's not a deal breaker. Not producing neutrons is not a deal breaker for fusion.
Most of them are.
Especially if the amount of neutrons being produced is extremely low, detecting them is going to be very difficult.
Is that they all work in one way or another by pushing hydrogen atoms into materials. Hydrogen is the smallest chemical element and it likes to embed itself into any sort of lattice structure.
This is the main idea behind cold fusion. That they take hydrogen atoms and they get them stuck inside of a lattice, metal lattice, pump that metal full of water or full of hydrogen atoms. They get stuck in there. They get stuck and they're squeezed in. And once they get squeezed in, you start messing with the boundary conditions and fusion is happening. That's the whole idea around cold fusion.
This changes the energetic properties of the lattice. Sometimes you must exert energy to push the hydrogen in, then you get the energy back out if you reduce the pressure. Sometimes it's the other way around. The energy decreases if hydrogen embeds in the material, and that will generate heat. So there probably is really heat being generated, but it's nothing to do with nuclear reactions. And
that's all wrong. So the reason why this is wrong is because, once again, Sabine missed the most. The reason why Sabine is wrong is she missed the most fundamental aspect of the universe. We're not in an empty void. Space is not an empty vacuum. This is the reason why her whole argument for, well, if you're going to have relaxation and excitation, they have to balance out. Therefore, if they balance out, there's no way you should be getting net energy, but they are measuring net energy. She's once again just ignoring the results and then saying physics says, chemistry says you can't get more energy out. Yes, that's why we have 0-point energy, Sabine. It's so embarrassingly stupid how wrong she is about this. And truthfully, I have nothing personal against Sabine, but the world deserves and should bully Sabine until the day she dies over how hilariously wrong she was about physics. She's hilariously, ignorantly wrong about physics, and this is why all her takes on this is wrong. This is why I'm a healthcare consultant with no physics degree, and I'm correcting a PhD physicist, a respected one, and I'm correcting her because she doesn't understand physics. That's how backwards this world is. Okay, so you guys get the idea. The reason why she's wrong is because there is this extra energy, and this is why cold fusion became a fiasco. If this was just a matter of simple chemistry, Pons and Fleischmann would never have existed. One of them was a chemist, an expert chemist. You think he doesn't know the difference between excitation and relaxation versus anomalous excess energy? Sabine, you're just a fucking idiot. I don't know how else to put this, but please read a book for once in your life. My God. Okay, guys, changing topic slightly, just briefly. Intermission. Quick intermission. We're halfway through. Maybe a little bit more. We got to talk about this story, chat. Normally, I do not talk about streamers or other stupid shit on the internet or other conspiracies. But some Argentinian streamer guy died, and I'm a little bugged out by this. I'm bugged out by not more people talking about this. He died in a helicopter accident. Rest in peace, Kobe. For some reason, I always think about Kobe, the GOAT. The GOAT, chat. Kobe, baby. Okay. Don't ever get in a helicopter. Now, let's just watch the video. Why am I bringing this up? Because this is a video of two helicopters colliding and then crashing. Oh, Oliver Tree is his name, chat. Rest in peace, Oliver Tree. Now, the reason why I find this so crazy is that how does two helicopters crash midair? That is basically impossible unless somebody is trying to make that happen. That's like trying to get two random ions to fuse, chat. The chance is extremely low. So to me, there's only two possible ways that this played out. Number one, they were trying to do some kind of skit or something for YouTube with helicopters. They were playing helicopter games, helicopter pranks, and they shouldn't have been playing helicopter pranks like Eastbound and Down. But that seems unlikely. Why? Because the guy was super famous, and there's no way you'd have people around you telling you this is a terrible idea. We should never do this, right? So the second idea is somebody intentionally crashed into them. That one of those helicopter pilots just intentionally flew right into the other one. So something to keep an eye on, because I got a weird feeling about this one, chat. Got a weird feeling about that one. Okay. That's your intermission, chat. You guys wonder why I'm afraid to fly. Back to the drama. Now, I know you guys love drama. I know you love it. So let's get right into it. Dylan Borland. If you did not already watch my live stream on Thursday with my message to Dylan Borland. Better Future jumped in here and says, you kind of exposed yourself there, Dylan. There's a reason why you don't want to look into MH370. That is a really, really good point. And that's the kind of point. You guys don't need to troll these people with ad hominem attacks. If you want to troll these people, troll them with comments like that. You're afraid to look into the MH370 videos. That's what it is. Because just like I told you a second ago, they say, here's Dylan Borland's response. This triggered him, obviously. Because it's fake. The irony is a conclusion can be correct in a sense, but the evidence is bullshit. I've never said anything about Pais and the patents. Yeah, we know. We know you've never said anything about Salvatore Pais and the patents. Because you're fucking afraid. Because if you say anything about Salvatore Pais and the patents, he's on record saying the videos are real like multiple times. And you know those patents are going to be proven to be real. That's why you're not saying anything about the patents. Because you're trying to protect your own credibility. And this is the exact reason why I'm glad that he's finally speaking out. I wish the other douchebags, Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, all those other losers, I wish they had the guts to actually say what they mean. Because I know they think exactly the same as this guy. And they should say that. Don't be a pussy. Say you think the videos are fake. Say it on the internet. The reason why they don't do that is because they get attacked on the internet. And they go, the bots are attacking. They're not bots, man. Those are real people. Those are real people attacking you because you're an idiot and you're wrong. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I'm not grifting. I didn't find some videos on the internet and go, hey, you know what would be great? I should start a social media brand around some teleporting plane videos. Because, hey, I work a 40-hour, I worked an 80-hour week the other week. I work a 60, 80-hour week. And you know what? All I want to do is talk about teleporting plane videos to grift on the side. I'm not grifting. Those videos are objectively what we did to MH370. They're not fake. Nobody faked them. Nobody made them. Nobody hoaxed the videos. I don't even know how people think that's even possible. I've debated many people, and not one person has ever been able to explain to me how to make the videos. Nobody. Not a single human being on this planet. And I say, hey, there's 2 videos, and they're perfectly in sync from 2 different angles, and you can even see the clouds matching. How does somebody turn a static 2D photo into 3-dimensional scene? As far as I know, that's not something that's possible. Maybe using super advanced computers these days, but not in 2014. And that's why nobody really wants to talk about the facts. Nobody really wants to talk about the evidence with me. Because the evidence and the facts are on my side. They're on our side. They can't argue the facts. They can't argue the evidence. But you know what? This was actually really revealing. This was super, super revealing. Do you know what I learned from this? And this is the reason why I wanted them to speak out. Because I couldn't tell if these guys are covering up for the government or if they're just stupid. And now I know for sure exactly what I suspected is true. They're not lying for the government. They're just retarded. Dylan Borland is just an idiot. Jeremy Corbell is just a moron. George Knapp is just an incompetent boomer. James Fox is just an idiot that gets played by literally anybody that will pay him any amount of attention. They're all literally just idiots. That's what's going on. They're all just morons, and they literally believe that the government can't understand alien technology. And this is how I know they have to be liberals. They have to be Democrats. No question. This is why you guys don't see some southern redneck coming out talking about exposing the aliens from being a military background. It's always some brainwashed, libtard Democrat coming out going, the aliens are here, everybody. You got to believe in the aliens now. Come on, believe in the aliens. No, we can't understand alien physics. That's alien physics. Humans can't understand that. Like, how stupid do you have to be to think that humans, that the United States government didn't figure this technology out? So let's go to a clip and we'll come back to this because I got a few more things I want to riff on this. Because I have spoken to, Michael Schratt, who's like one of the best researchers on the reverse engineering of this. None of them, not one of them, believes that humans have figured this technology out. Not one. I went to Contact in the Desert last year and I literally asked them, the experts, straight to their face, and they told me, no, we can't figure this out. That's the PSYOP, chat. Let me be clear. That is the PSYOP. The PSYOP, the fake thing the CIA is pushing out there, is this idea that humans can't understand alien physics, can't understand alien technology. It's too far beyond where we're at. That is 100% bullshit. That's not true. That doesn't exist. Show me anything that humans can't understand. I will explain it for you. Anything. That's real, of course. So you have real footage for, or experimental data for. That's what's crazy about this. So anyway, well, let's go to this clip and then we'll come back to that. Here's your boy, Timu Ashton Forbes, chat. By the way, this guy is a PSYOP too. Dan Farah, Timu Ashton Forbes. The moment Ashton Forbes' star started to fade on the podcast, they break out the fifth executive, the fifth side producer on Steven Spielberg's whatchamacallit movie. What was it? Crap, I just forgot it. Anyway. So
a number of the people that have been involved in gatekeeping this information and involved in the cover-up, they've told members of
Ready Player One, there it is,
senior members of Congress and senior members of the intelligence community in confidential settings that they're afraid to come forward with what they know because they fear the repercussions. They fear that they will be held accountable. They're worried about going to jail. They're worried about how their careers ruined. And so there's a brewing support inside of even the White House right now to offer amnesty to these people. And some senior members of the cabinet are actually messaging this to the intelligence community that they're not looking to punish anyone. It's not a witch hunt, and that they can offer protections to people who come forward. And so,
okay, that's enough. I can't listen to this guy anymore. Let me go ahead and counter signal that. It is a witch hunt. None of you are protected. Any of you that are out there that try to come out and say that, oh, the aliens are here, guys, the alien technologies, you're not getting any whistleblower protections. Anybody that covered up free energy, I don't even care if you get a pardon. I don't care if you get a piece of paper that says you have amnesty. That shit is null and void. That shit is getting ripped up. That's not worth, I'm going to wipe my ass with that amnesty. Literally going to wipe my ass with that amnesty. Better pray to God that no administration ever in the future ever hires Ashton Forbes to go after the free energy cover-up. Because there will be no amnesties, no prior agreements will be valid. Every single person that covered up free energy, your life is over. We are going to do to you exactly what you did to the cold fusion engineers and scientists. Exactly. We're going to get you fired from your job. We're going to make sure that you don't ever get to get a new job anywhere else. And we're going to bully you until the day you die. And we're going to make every word, every physics word that you believed in, dark energy, we're going to make it into a fucking meme. We're going to make it into a joke. We're going to make your life a living hell for the rest of your life until the day you die. That's what we're going to do. And if anything happens to me, those are my final wishes. That's what I want someone to do, is prosecute every one of these assholes, take every single thing from them, including, of course, all their money. Take all their money from them as well, and make sure they're destitute, and make sure their family gets nothing, not one penny. Their children can try to make it the American way from scratch, just like everybody else did. No silver spoons, no Nepo babies. That means Christopher Mellon's little brat bitch son, Hunter Mellon, he doesn't get shit. I can see a Nepo baby. He's like the least deserving person I've ever interacted with. That should never be given any amount of money. And of course, Christopher Mellon has already set his Nepo baby son to be in the deep state. Already gave him intelligence role. Nobody else in the world would get these opportunities, right? But Christopher Mellon's bitch son, Hunter Mellon, gets it. Keep that guy, by the way, Hunter Mellon, on your list. He's guaranteed to be deep state in the future. 100% guaranteed. Okay. Next thing. Now, I have literally never agreed with Destiny on anything in my whole life. Streamer. I can't believe we're talking about two streamers in one day. But he's right here. This might be the first time ever. In fact, I used to play StarCraft against Destiny. And the amount of shit talk would definitely get either of us canceled on social media these days. Here you go.
Like the idea that we've had for 80 years, some extraterrestrial material in our possession, and we haven't been able to break it down, analyze it, rebuild it. No other country in the world has called us out on it. No Edward Snowden leaks. No Donald Trump gets into the presidency and asks questions about it and figures out what's going on. No private corporation, no academic institution, no foreign government's intelligence. Nobody is.
Well, but that's not true. You see, what you're doing right now. No, what you're doing is
99% wrong on everything you just said.
I'm going to choke to that, chat. That is one of the greatest clips I've ever seen. I mean, he's wrong on a few of those points, but that's exactly how you should deal with these alien weirdos that are coming at you going, we can't understand this physics. We can't understand this technology. You're like, okay, so nobody's ever leaked any of it. No industry's been able to rebuild it. The government can't understand it after 80 years. Nobody's been able to reverse engineer it after 80 years of looking at it. They're like, yeah, it's totally normal, dude. Like, oh, we've had secret alien technology buried for 80 years, and we just can't figure out how it works because it's aliens. No one can understand alien physics, right? That's the perfect reaction to that. It's just low IQ people who don't even really think about it. Now, what are the real answers, though? The real answer is people have been whistleblowing it. It has been leaking out. That's why tonight's live stream is Quantumania. Because we're watching those exact alien technologies leak out. The most important part is we can understand it. I saw Bob Green here in the chat, Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project. Literally the memorial project for Martin Fleischmann of Cold Fusion. Pons and Fleischmann, the same one. We can understand this alien technology. That's the secret. We can figure it out, and they figured it out a long time ago. And what we think of as this alien technology is just advanced electromagnetism. It's magnetohydrodynamics. It's the idea that we can push back on empty space. That's the physics that the Black Project engineers are using. That's how they're developing the UFOs. That Destiny clip is good. Now, chat, I'm a man of my word. I don't like Michael Schellenberger. Again, not personal. I just don't like him. I think he's an idiot. Why the hell was Michael Schellenberger on the UFO? Why was Michael Schellenberger brought in front of Congress to talk about UFOs? As like the last person in the world. By the way, when people get mad at me for in the future being in front of Congress, don't be. It'll be entertaining. I guarantee you that. First thing I'm going to say is I don't want to hear any stupid questions from these idiot Congress people. Ask me smart questions. Ask me what you actually want to know. Number two, if they put Michael Schellenberger in front of Congress to testify, then I can definitely testify. Okay? Michael Schellenberger had literally no reason to be in front of Congress whatsoever. And it was awkward. He didn't even know why he was there. I definitely have a good reason to be there related to MH370 and this technology. And I can actually answer questions, unlike these other idiots who are like, we don't have any answers. Okay. Michael Schellenberger, even though I don't like you, you're right. Here you go. He says the government is doing anything other than simply releasing documents, images, and videos, etc., should be viewed with suspicion. There's way too much talk and speculation and theorizing and bureaucracy already. It's time for the intelligence community to just release the material they have. Exactly. They shouldn't be releasing video and imagery without the multi-agency analysis, which would have undoubtedly occurred in many instances. No, wrong. This view that Chris Sharp here of Liberation Times has is wrong. There should be no gatekeeping. The video should just be released. The only thing I need to know is where was this recorded and when was it recorded? I don't need gatekeepers determining, oh, that one's a balloon. You don't need to see that one. No, I don't need anybody deciding what I should be able to see and telling me what to think. Just show me what you already have. Simple as that. The reason why they're not doing that is the MH370 videos. Literally the MH370 videos. They're not showing us what they have because they have videos of planes teleporting out of the sky. There's no ambiguity. If they come out and say the MH370 videos are real, there's no ambiguity anymore. There's no questions to be asked. You go, oh, there's an extra dimension. We can teleport and energy is free. That's the reason why they're not doing that. And Michael Schellenberger responds, we don't need another layer of people, no matter how well-intentioned they are. They're not well-intentioned, by the way. The people they put on the Luring Council for the UFOs are not well-intentioned people. It's a who's who of grifters. In fact, Michael Shermer, who's the debunker they brought on, this guy has already tried to push his book half a dozen times, And he's only been announced as being appointed to this agency like less than a week ago. These people are the absolute worst money-grubbing grifters that I've ever seen, and they're all now involved in the UFO, on this UFO Learning Council. The only person they're missing is Jeremy Corbell. Get Jeremy Corbell in there, and you've got all the most money-grubbing UFO grifters out there. You've got Avi Loeb out there begging for $1 billion. He wanted $1 billion, Avi Loeb does. Talking about magical space rocks. Okay. So the answer is this. We don't need any more gatekeepers. We don't need anybody else. Just release what you already have. This is our messaging. We don't need learning councils. We don't need reviews. Just release what you have. And what do we want? We want the CIA footage. If the CIA is not doing evil shit, if the CIA is not teleporting airplanes out of the sky, then they can release the footage. Release the footage. They can't do that because they literally are teleporting planes out of the sky like some fucking psychopaths. So, last comments on the Dylan Borland thing. Did I hit all the main points here? Just checking. Oh, yes. Dylan Borland did the thing that I told you they're going to do. I was looking for the clip, but I can't find it. So if somebody can find one of the old clips, please find it. Dylan Borland's already trying to set the narrative that Ashton Forbes was accidentally right about zero-point energy. Ashton Forbes was accidentally right about wormholes and teleportation. This is what they're going to do. I fucking told you guys they're going to do this shit. Is that because I got ahead of the science, because I figured out the physics literally before anyone else in the whole world, but because I figured it out from those videos, and I said, when this physics is proven real, no more denying the videos. When it's proven we can teleport, no more denying the videos. When it's proven free energy is real, no more denying the videos. No, they're already setting the stage. They're going to say, he just accidentally got free energy right. Ashton Forbes just showed up out of nowhere, found some crazy videos of us teleporting a plane, but those videos are fake. Those videos are fake. Actually, he got lucky. He got lucky and he accidentally figured out all the exact engineers, all the exact physics, all that. Yep, you just got lucky. Dude, fuck you, man. Don't even try this fucking narrative. Any of these fucking retards try this narrative and say, no, he just got lucky on the free energy. He just got lucky on the teleportation. I'm going to shred you to goddamn pieces, dude. That's why I specifically, no less than half a dozen times on my live streams, called out that they were going to do this. Called it out years in advance because that's their only play. You can't argue the evidence with me. You can't argue the facts with me. I'm literally more advanced than you are in your own topic. And because you just don't want to admit I'm right, you're going to go ahead and just gaslight yourself. Literally just gaslight yourselves, living in denial, pretending like the two most obviously real military videos are fake. Why are they fake again? Can someone just explain why they're fake? Because claiming that they're cloud photos that post-date the videos and somehow made two videos of that, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up, brother. There's a missing plane, and that's it. That's the missing plane. Oh, and there was one more really, really important part. I'm glad I got to this last bit here. And we have a couple more things to go through. Which is that if we don't have this technology, then why am I looking at it in two military videos? Those videos prove we really do have this technology, and not just random technology, the exact technology the alien people are talking about. The exact technology. That is the UFO technology. In fact, David Froning and Paul Murad, these guys were big UFO people. They were big UFO people, not afraid to talk about it either. And if Dylan Borland, this is the most important part, listen closely here. If Dylan Borland thinks those videos are fake, that actually tells us a lot. That tells us that the UFO people have no idea what's really going on. Anybody that can't look at those videos, those 2 military videos, and see that they're real, they have no clue what's happening geopolitically. No clue. The reason why I've been so accurate about everything that's happened geopolitically, including calling that there would be no boots on the ground and that we would only do special operations in Iran, which ended up being true. I was right about that months and months and months and before the war even began. How did I know all that? Because I understand geopolitics better than anybody. Because I understand what's really at stake, the technology that's at stake. But what this means is that that technology must be really buried. The technology we're looking at in the MH370 videos is clearly not standard issue military. It's not even standard issue intelligence community. That's the biggest rub. The reason why Dylan Borland doesn't recognize the videos to be real is he's not familiar with those systems. That's the only possibility. If somebody was familiar with that Gorgon stair system and those Litnin G4 pods, they would know those videos are real. How do I know? Because people have come in my replies with that experience and they go, this blew me away when I watched this because I know Gorgon stair is real and I can't believe what I'm seeing, right? So what this means is that those UFO people are woefully ignorant of what's going on. They're being played. They are being played by the people that have the technology. And it means the technology has to be either CIA or unacknowledged special access program or both, right? Think about it. The only way you can hide this technology from even the UFO people who are trying to find out about the UFOs and the aliens is that it's not out there at all. Like, only the VPU2 wizards has access to it. Only the CIA's Directorate of Science and Technology has access to it. And it's tightly controlled even in those venues. This is why they went after Edward Lin so hard. Edward Lin revealed secret classified weapons capabilities that the other military is not even supposed to know about. Other intelligence community is not even supposed to know about. That's what Dylan Borland's message tells us. How interesting is that? And this is why it was so important for them to post and reply. I don't care if they believe the videos are fake or not. It tells me how much info they know. I don't care if Dylan Borland believes the videos are fake. His opinion means literally nothing to me. It means literally nothing. I already know for a fact the videos are real. So if he wants to be an idiot and say the videos are fake, well, you're the one trying to have a career in UFOlogy, buddy. I got to be honest, your career is done. Your career is over because you don't realize that the very videos that would prove you right, you don't believe that you don't even understand that they're real. That's disqualifying, bro. If you're out there saying that the aliens are here and they've got alien technology, and then I show you the alien technology, you go, nah, that's not real. Well, then, sorry, man, but your credibility is kind of done at that point. Kind of shows that whatever fake expertise you were trying to pretend like you had in the intelligence community, you don't really have it. Has Dylan Borland ever even seen wide area motion imagery? That should be the number one question anyone asks Dylan Borland next. Have you even seen wide area motion imagery? Had you actually even seen it before I revealed it? Because if you have seen it, how do you not recognize it? If you've seen wide area motion imagery and you know it's a big screen and you press the screen and you have a window pop up, how do you not recognize wide area motion imagery? In fact, let me pull it up here just for anybody else who's not. This is literally wide area motion imagery. Even if somehow this is not Gorgon stair, I'm not infallible. I can be wrong. I mean, I'm not, but I can be wrong. Even if you don't think this is Gorgon stair, you got to recognize wide area motion imagery. Like, that's the reason why this mouse cursor's on the screen and all this stuff's going on, why the screen is moving around, because it's literally a window that somebody is moving the window around on a bigger field of view. This is wide area motion imagery. No question. So this is why literally anyone, you want to ruin your career? If you're in the intelligence community or you're a UFO whistleblower and you want to ruin your career, easiest way to do that, come out and say that these videos are fake. Come on, say these videos are fake. Say that this specific one, this is wide area motion imagery, which Dylan Borland thinks is fake. Go ahead and do it. Guarantee you your career in the intelligence community is over instantly. Unless, I guess, maybe they want dumbasses who don't understand the videos are real. Maybe then you'll be promoted for all I know. Okay, let's move on. That's enough Dylan Borland stuff. Changing topics slightly here. This is another interesting one. We're in our conspiracy. Just 3 days ago. Wow. So apparently some drones rolled up to Moscow and did some kind of suicide bombing situation or something like that, and they blew up the biggest refinery in Moscow. Now, I found this was interesting because one of our B-52 Strato Fortresses, which is the airplanes that we put the nukes on, mysteriously crashed, killing 8 service members like a day before this happened. And now I'm too CIA conspiracy minded now. Where now I'm sitting here going, just like a day after one of our nuclear weapons planes suddenly crashes mysteriously, the capital of Russia is got black smoke so thick that you can't see the sky anymore. Pretty crazy to me. Now, from a geopolitical perspective, pretty interesting because I've been saying that this Ukraine-Russia war is basically just a proxy war for us to weaken Russia. Ethnic Russians are fighting other ethnic Russians. This is like if Texas was fighting the rest of the United States. It would just weaken all of us. So we're pretty much just using Russia and the Ukraine to weaken Russia, which is a smart move because we've got free energy and 0-point energy, and we need Russia to be as weak as possible when it gets rolled out. Because otherwise, we're going to get back to a Mexican standoff situation where everyone's going to talk about they can blow up the planet anytime they want. And if we piss them off, they'll just blow up the whole planet. And when they do that, which they will, we're going to have to eradicate them. When terrorists come out and say, hey, we're going to blow up the planet if you don't do something, we're going to shoot you with a directed energy weapon and liquefy you on the spot. We're going to turn you into a puddle from outer space, from literally outer space. So just be clear, that's how this is going to play out. I don't want to hear anyone get upset about it when we liquefy the terrorists or whatever, right? Now, there's another interesting clip from that. It turns out Russia blew up their own refinery. Now, the whole damage can't be just from one missile. I mean, that was a lot of damage to a refinery. But take a look at this. Pretty interesting. Somebody caught the actual moment when an anti-drone Russian missile hit their own refinery. This is one of the biggest, craziest explosions I've seen. Not in terms of damage and devastation, but just physics. Here we go. Chat. That is like the top of an oil drum, one of those big refinery things. And that thing is like 100 stories in the sky. Look at how high up that is. My goodness. Like in a major city, too. Let's just watch the whole thing. That's how high that thing is. Like a rocket going off. Honestly, is there any news about how many people died in this? I don't really want to make fun of it or anything like that because, man, that seems like a horrible tragedy. But granted, we're at war. Now, for the people who say, we lost the war in Iran. Well, the peace deal's been signed. War is over. And if you think we lost the war, how come stuff like that's not happening in America? Where are the suicide drones blowing up our oil refineries in America? Yeah, they're not, because we didn't lose the war. We literally wiped out Iran's infrastructure, their nuclear capabilities, all their leadership. Like, there's no definition did we lose the war. Jeez, the revisionism going on is insane. Okay, let's get to our moments of Zen, guys, and then we're going to go to our super chats. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight on this Monday, and thank you for checking out this earlier time. I'm not sure we're going to stick to this early time. I kind of like it a little better just because of the way the sun is and everything. Tom Hudson. Now, this is fake. I'm sure of it, but it's also totally weird and crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. I don't know where Tom Hudson found this video. It's not real. It's edited or something, but it's just too bizarre to not talk about. Here we go. This spacecraft or whatever I'm looking at here, this looks exactly like the cover of David Fronin's book. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Does that look familiar, chat? That look familiar? It's exactly the same. Like, it's so exact that they clearly used AI to add this in to this video. What the hell? Where'd it go? Okay, so how do I know it's AI? Because when you zoom out, it just becomes a white dot. It just becomes a white dot when they zoom out. So that's how I know. They just basically what they did, I think, here is that when it zooms in, they just use AI to have it turn and morph into the book cover, which is pretty cool because that's definitely what they did. So someone was trolling us, I think. Someone was probably trolling us, trying to get some attention. Didn't work, but still pretty cool video. I like it. Now, last thing. The libs have gone totally crazy. If you need proof that people have no purpose, especially liberals that have no purpose, the people that hate Trump, hate science, hate AI data centers, they just are looking for something to hate. These people that are anti-science, they don't believe in anything. And their newest thing is that they're against they're for the algae in the reflecting pond. It's actually not clear what these people are for or against, and that's the main problem.
Pond scam. Our money's really being fucking spent well for y'all to watch pond scam.
So we've moved on from harassing ICE agents that are doing their official duties arresting criminals to now harassing random National Guard people who are protecting the reflecting pool from psychopath liberals who, for some reason, want to spread algae in it. I want to see if I can find the clip from earlier, the TMZ one. This one. Is this it? No. This lady, I think, gets arrested, right?
Algae is doing good today, honey. Team Algae, we're sweethearts. Everybody's proud of you. You are single-handedly doing more to fight fascism than any American has. Yeah.
The algae is doing more to fight fascism. Now, where's the last clip? The last one I want is this guy that was earlier today. Where is it? Here, I think this is it. So people are literally being arrested over this, chat. How weird do you have to be getting yourself arrested over desecrating one of our national monuments? Well, you're about to find out how weird.
Why do you do it? I was yelling at the Oklahoma State troopers. Why? I was yelling at them. I know, but why were you yelling at them? Because they're here. But the Oklahoma State troopers. I know, but why would you be yelling at them? Like, why just because they're here? No. I'm just trying to have a better understanding. Lick the boot. If you love the boot, lick it.
This guy's like, dude, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this? He's like, dude, it's Oklahoma State troopers. I was yelling at the Oklahoma State troopers. He's like, yeah, but why? He's like, it's Oklahoma State troopers, as if that just, and he laughed. Like, this look he has on his face. I got to go back to it. Where is it? Where this like, just, he's so pleased with himself.
Because they're here. I'm just trying to have a better.
Look at this smile. Where
understand it.
Oh, shit. Here we go. This smile he has on his face when he's walking away right here, when he's being asked why he does it. But there's no reason whatsoever to be doing this. Why are you doing this? If you like the boot, lick it. If you want the boot,
understand
the boot. If you love the boot, lick it.
If you want the boot, lick it. What fascism? What fascism are you fighting at the reflecting pool in the National Memorial? What are we doing here, dude? I can't anymore. Like, this is why I say, chat, we have to gatekeep 0 point energy from these people. Can we give someone like that 0 point energy? Can we give someone like that free energy? No, you're out of your mind if you think we can give someone like that 0 point energy. We won't last one day. No, chat. Okay, let's go to the supers. Pilled chat, thank you. Welcome back, Pilled chat. Sorry I missed the live stream with you guys last night. With God's grace, Ziploc, everyone else, appreciate you guys. Uh-oh. I just screwed up my chat. Okay. Rumble chat. Wow, multiple super chats in the Rumble chat. Thank you guys for hanging out in the Rumble chat. Delta says, did Skunkworks fit Air Force One with a plasma fusion accelerator? They say it has unlimited fuel. Is that true? No, I think what they mean is that they can refill it on the fly. But it would not surprise me if Air Force One does have some kind of free energy device on it. If you really want, the thing that nobody really talks about is our submarines. We have our nuclear-powered submarines. What kind of nuclear, chat? What kind of nuclear is it? I want to see the details of those. The reason why those nuclear reactors are so secret is probably those submarines can last forever. Those submarines never have to come up if they don't want to. I bet you our submarines are amazing. Good Rex donos the $10 says, Ashton, do you agree with what do you agree with that we went to war with Iran? Oh, I'm struggling. Why did we bomb the girls' school in Iran? Was it a mistake? No, I think we targeted that school. We were like, hey, how can we kill the most amount of innocent civilians possible? You know what? Look, there's a school right there. Let's shoot a missile right into that school when all the children are there and wipe those people out. I mean, seriously, how do you want me to answer that, man? I seriously wonder about some of you people who, like, you always ascribe the worst motivations and the worst intentions to people you don't like, and you always ascribe the best intentions to the people that you do like, right? That's called tribalism. It's like, of course we didn't try to blow up a school. We accidentally blew up a school. Well, that's war. Do I like it? No. What do you want us to do about it? Well, we should just give up the war then. We blew up a school accidentally. Like, this is the problem why you can't really have reasonable conversations with people when they're so biased in their opinion. Because there's just, there's no conclusion. You ask them, like, what do you want us to actually do here? You want us to be less safe? No, don't go to war with Iran. Do you want them to have a nuclear weapon? Do you want them to have a 0 point energy weapon that can blow up the whole planet? I don't. We did the right thing. Wiping out all of Iran's leadership, their infrastructure, that was the right thing to do. Is it distasteful? Is it not easy to palate? Yeah, that's war, man. It's going to get uglier too. Because here's the reality. It takes a lot to keep us safe. It takes a lot to make sure this planet doesn't get blown up by some dumb monkey. That's why the gatekeeping is required. Because when you look around, people are too stupid to handle this technology. They can't deal with it. Let's go to the super chats. Michael Nakasatsuska. Ashton is our Peter Parker. I got that spider sense, chat. Charlie Gentry, ZPE machine field reverse configuration separatrix already is one. Boundary condition drop. This is basically exactly what I'm saying. Boundary condition drops to low entropy. Charge separates, expels disorder. Nature built it. Cooper pairs to black holes. This has been, when I started digging down free energy, I realized when you get to the end, you run into fusion. You run into where we're at commercially with fusion, but not those tokamak reactors, the ones that everybody knows. No. Field reverse configuration, dipole configurations, using the separation of electric and positive charge. That's where the secret to free energy and fusion is. Thank you, Charlie Gentry. 35 orders of magnitude, same move every time. Plasma double layers isn't a side effect. It's just the mechanism. Q-Day just gave us the computing to prove it. Thank you. It's all about entropy. Yes, I actually think about Tim Pool a lot. Tim Pool said free energy is actually about efficiency. That's what free energy is about. You could actually develop a system that uses 0.001% input and gets out 99.99% output efficiency-wise, and it would be almost infinitely efficient. In a way, in a very real way, that's also free energy. So in a sense, free energy is just about efficiency. It's about hitting the scaling and efficiency where it just pops off. Where your hero in League of Legends snowballs and just rolls the other team down. It's not a challenge anymore. Like my analogies tonight, chat? I don't know if they're good or not, but we'll see. Chaotic Good dropped a few donuts. Said, a tip that I told you so jar, because didn't we call this forever ago? Yes. And I don't know which quantum stocks. I'm probably going to invest in either Sunny Whites, or I actually got to find Paul Thibodeau. I was looking around because Tom Vallone told me he thinks Paul Thibodeau is going to be number one. And I don't see any news about it. So I kind of want to chat with Tom. I want to see, maybe Tom Vallone can get Garrett Modell or Paul Thibodeau to come on my podcast. It's going to be hard with Garrett Modell. I kind of went at him pretty hard, but I like them both a lot. So maybe. Follow up. Quantum processors and aneutronic fusion reactors means the data centers become clean energy power plants. Exactly. Exactly. These data centers are literally going to become power plants. And they know that. That's already being baked into the process. That's why some of these places are like, you have to produce so much energy that you give us some too. And you're like, wait a minute. You're like, how are you going to produce so much energy that you're powering your data centers and you're going to give back some energy to us too? Yeah, they're going to do that because they're going to be producing essentially free energy. It's going to be a boring dystopia, chat. It might as well be alien. We're ether blind, chat. They're ether blind. That's a great term. All these physicists, Eric Weinstein, Sabine Hossenfelder, Sean Carroll, they're ether blind. They keep coming with all these other terms to name the thing that we've already got a name for. They're like the background energy. Dude, it's the ether. My channel, Sabine wants half an orb. Thank you. Cadigan says, rip Oliver Tree. He was fighting with his record label. Yeah, I've heard this rumor. I don't know if we're going to do a follow-up into that. I guess we'll wait for facts to come out now. I'm not like Candace Owens. I'm not just going to make a 12-part series about the Oliver Tree scandal. Let's just wait for the facts to come out. I'm just pointing out pretty damn suspicious the way it went down. And it's the South America. Wouldn't surprise me. Nothing surprised me in South America. People get shot while they're in their sandals and flip-flops in South America. Chaotic Good says, Oliver Tree is second-generational record label money. It is weird. There you go. Zapparoo, Jeremy Dunn told you he's got the secret files in his workbook. Chat, how are there no follow-ups to any of this stuff? Like, Candace Owens claims she's got a secret video that's going to prove that Charlie Kirk didn't appoint Erica Kirk, and then it just goes away. I call bullshit. All her followers jump all over me and say, she's playing 5D chess. Where's the video? We're waiting. And Jeremy Corbell says, if they don't release the alien evidence, I'm going to release my NHI biologics. We're waiting. Where's the NHI biologics folder? What's the holdup? Why is there a wait? Why didn't you already release it? I thought 100. Didn't he say 100 journalists have this data? Where is it? They just forgot to release it? Diego, love learning the truth. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Diego. I appreciate you, brother. Jaleel Robinson, I always appreciate you too. Third Eye Tribe says, best chat in the world. Thank you, Ash, and thank you, Third Eye Tribe. XLX Squeeze says, hey, Ash, and just sent a full call to action. SpaceX sent you the copy. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. And then Zapparoo says, another fantastic stream. Thank you from the Zaps. Thank you, Zapparoo. Zapparoo, I appreciate you. Lastly, Charlie Gentry, what do you think of Penrose CCC emergent 5D gravity? I don't know enough. I don't know about it. Penrose was a genius, obviously. Instead, what I'll tell you is I have found another internet girl. What's her name? Jenny something Nelson out of University of Kansas. And I am intrigued. I'm intrigued. I'm not trying to simp here too hard. But physicist females that have good ideas, that's a rare combination, chat. Rare combination. And she was using the magic word SU2. SU2. And she was helping to visualize. I like people that can explain something. Explain to me your thought process. Helping to visualize how we might understand an SU2 conditioned electromagnetic field in the context of a hop vibration, which is this crazy loop of loop design shape object. So take a look at her, Jenny Nelson or something like that. I'm going to be following her. Also, she's weird as fuck, chat. I'm also into all those weird chicks that post weird psycho stuff, anime stuff, Pokemon stuff, video game stuff. You know it. Timothy Foster, carry on, Ashton and fellow Orbeez. Thank you, Timothy Foster, and all your donations. You got to be way up near the top. I appreciate you, brother. And Kinsei Sensei, Ashton is a genocide apologist. Ooh, apologizing. This is actually one of the dumbest arguments people do. When they say, you're apologizing for a genocide of who? What race of people do you think is being genocided? Do you even know what the definition of the word genocide is? These clips, when these people bring this stuff up, it reminds me, you guys get a little bonus tonight, of Rick and Morty. When Rick and Morty talks about projecting, this is exactly these guys. Here you go.
Projection is? Do you? No, I heard mom use it.
It's like, hey, do you know what genocide is? No, I just heard somebody else use it. Now I just tell people that they support genocide. It's like, how dumb are you people? Actually. Normally I wouldn't rail on you, but you decided to actually spend a super chat to be stupid in my live stream, so I am going to rail on you. There's no genocide happening. Though there's no genocide of people that's being wiped out. That actually literally requires a race of people to be wiped out. Now, if you're referring to Palestine, Palestine's not a place. There's no country called Palestine. I think what you're really talking about is a bunch of sand people got their homes obliterated and lives destroyed because they committed one of the worst horrific terrorist attacks to ever happen in the modern era. That's what actually happened. It's called October 7th. And like over 1,000 people were killed. 1,000? Like kids at nightclubs, people in their families in their houses. And it's all on video. There's no denying it. The atrocities are recorded. They bragged about the atrocities. So when you come at me, you go, but the genocide, those people, every single one of them deserve to be killed. Every single one of them deserved to be wiped out. It should have been worse. And if that had happened to America, if they had hit us with an attack like that, every single person in their bloodline would be wiped off this planet. Every single one. They would be living like cave people in caves for the next 100 years. How do I know? Because we literally did that to Iran, Iraq. Well, maybe not Iran yet, but Iraq and Syria for sure. And Afghanistan. They're basically just third world hellholes now. So there you go. You got your long answer. Thank you for that donation. Appreciate it. And then Chaotic Good says, I think the question we need to ask is who is held responsible when autonomous weapons make mistakes? And this actually is a good question. What if, just speculating, what if those orbs around MH370, what if that wasn't supposed to happen? What if that was an automated defense system that just incorrectly identified the plane? It's not, but we should think about that possibility and think about the possibility of what do we do in the future when that does happen? When the AI does accidentally target a civilian airliner or something it's not supposed to, whose fault is that? How does that? We just go, oh, it is what it is. We'll just live it up. They took out another airliner. It's just the cost we have to pay to have AI. I don't know, guys. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate you guys. I love you. Have a great night. We'll be back on Wednesday. Peace out, everybody. Later.
in the fields where the skies are wide, talking about a journey through the cosmic ride. Einstein and Thorne, they set the stage for a trip through time across the space age. Wormholes connect distant points in space, traversable paths to a far-off place. No black holes pull, no crushing weight, just a cosmic tunnel to a distant gate.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow.
Exotic matter, negative energy's the key to stabilize the wormhole for you and me. Quantum vacuums squeeze so tight, creating conditions for this wondrous flight. Static fields and lasers in the lab they play, generating forces in a new kind of way. Gravitational squeezing, Casimir's force, negative zones we need to stay the course.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow.
Thin shell formalism plates so fine, spherical geometry we realign. Energy conditions that we must defy. For a stable wormhole, let's give it a try. Forces balancing the plate, creating the throat, open the gates, from Earth to the stars in a single bound, a shortcut through space profound. Engineers and dreamers hold the key to future worlds and what we could be. With science in hand, we forge ahead through the cosmic paths that we now tread.
We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow.
From the fields to the stars, we break the chains. Understanding the universe, we make the gains. Lil Hula Crunk shines, bringing truth to light. Through his music, we'll explore the night. With wormholes and stargates, our path is clear. Exploring the cosmos, our future's here.